back to Skyway TJ, and yes, we have another video here for you today. Today, we're going to be discussing all of the Planet of the Apes movies. This franchise started back in 1968, and is still going strong now in 2024. I'm going to be ranking all 10 films in this franchise, as I just saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes last night. And I watched all these movies the past month. So, I feel I'm qualified to give you my definitive ranking of these movies. Let's hop into them. All right, at the bottom of the list, I have Beneath the Planet of the Apes. This is the first sequel to the original Planet of the Apes movie. In the movie, it's pretty much the same premise as the first one. An astronaut crash lands on this planet, and he's trying to figure it out. It pretty much rehashes the first movie again, except for the second half when he goes underneath these sewer tunnels and he finds a bunch of mutants that have survived. They're humans that have survived and mutated from the nuclear blast or whatever. And then the whole movie just kind of ends with them exploding the world with nukes. And it was everyone was so how are there going to be future movies? It gets explained, but yeah, it's a bit weird. I didn't really like it. I don't think there's any bad movie in this franchise, but this one is just weird. So it's at the bottom. Next up, I have Battle for the Planet of the Apes. This is the original 5-movie franchise from the 60s and 70s. This is the original ending to that franchise. This movie, it's talking about the battle for the planet, and there's one fight. It's fine. There's just not a lot going on, and I feel like it was a bit lackluster to end all of this stuff. And by this point, the movies just felt like they didn't know what they were doing. But it's still watchable, and it's still fun, and Caesar in this timeline is fun to watch, I guess. So, it's not particularly great, but it's better than Beneath. Next up, we have Planet of the Apes from 2001. This is a remake of the movie that Tim Burton directed. It has Mark Wahlberg and Helena Bonham Carter and all that shit in it. This movie is not good plot-wise, at all. The plot is kind of all over the place and just kind of stupid. But, it's watchable, I guess. Tim Roth as the villain does an amazing job, and I do think that the makeup and visual effects are very good. This is the last time they did actual practical effects before they started doing all CGI in the reboot trilogy. So I don't hate that aspect of it. I think everyone's doing a pretty good job. It's just the movie's plot is pretty stupid and bad. So, Next up, I have Escape from the Planet of the Apes. This is the movie that came out after Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So at the end of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, they nuked the entire planet. Earth is gone. It blew up. But Zira and Cornelius, which are two characters that we met in the first movie, they escaped the planet by going up in Taylor's rocket ship, and then they ended up time traveling back to the 1970s. And in this timeline, the humans learned that eventually the Earth is going to blow up and the human race is going to be not the dominant species, so they end up not liking Zira and Cornelius, and all this stuff happens. They hunt them down, they assassinate them. It's pretty good. The focus of being on Zira and Cornelius is pretty fun. It's a good concept. It's the reverse of the first movie, where Zira and Cornelius were the ones herding humans up and having this connection with Taylor, a human. Now it's the opposite way around, where they're the ones that are the outcasts. It's cool. It's a cool flop on its head, or a flip on its head of the first movie, and I like that. Next up, I have Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, or Conquest for the Planet of the Apes. It's one of those. This movie takes place after Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Basically, Caesar, who was Zira and Cornelius, had a son in the last movie that they managed to hide, and now that's Caesar, and he's grown up, and he's trying to just fit into society, but he realizes it's unfair. He doesn't like all the slavery with the apes, so he leads an uprising, and the apes pretty much go to the point where they're going to take over the world and shit. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. The practical effects are always good. The makeup during this time is still very impressive. And yes, the fighting against the humans and them rising up was very fun to watch. It was very smart. And yeah, I like this one. All right, next up, I have the newest addition in this franchise. We have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This movie just came out yesterday or today. And it's visually very, very, very stunning to look at. It looks so good. CGI has come so damn far to the point where the mocap, and it's just You actually feel for these characters and they're just all computer generated. That's impressive. Plot-wise, the movie, I think, is a bit too long. It's just a smidge too long. Like, it lets you feel like you're living in the world, which is cool. But I just feel like there's a lot going on that didn't matter, and we didn't have enough time with the villain. That being said, what we did see is pretty good. I'm interested to see where this is the start of a new trilogy, apparently. But yeah, I don't hate it. This takes place like 300 years after the reboot trilogy with Caesar, as Andy Serkis as Caesar. So yeah, I'm interested to see where Caesar's teachings and his philosophies take this new trilogy and what's going to happen. Next up, I have the original Planet of the Apes from 1968. Like I said before, the fact that these practical makeup effects look this good from the 60s is very impressive to me. It's just, it feels iconic and it knows it is. The movie is pretty, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows at this point, but a couple astronauts crash land on an unknown planet and they get captured by the dominant species on this planet, which is apes. They learn throughout the movie that humans are mute dummies who just kind of can't do anything. They get experimented on, and throughout the movie, they escape, yada, yada, yada. There's all these things about philosophy and roles and society and shit. It's very good. I never knew that the twist ending, which I guess if you, spoiler alert, but like the fact that they were on Earth this whole time. Very good ending shot with him with the Statue of Liberty. Really enjoyed this one. And yeah, I think the Planet of the Apes franchise started off really strong. All right, next up I have Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is the first movie in the reboot trilogy that came out like in the past decade. This one, it's a different continuity. Basically, James Franco's company was making a cure for Alzheimer's, and it turned out to be this thing that made apes really smart, and it started like wiping out the human race. This is the start of that. Yeah, it's really good. When Caesar spoke for the first time, it sent chills down my back. Yeah, everyone in here is killing it. It's a great time. It's probably one of the best trilogies I've ever seen, to be quite honest. In second place, I have War for the Planet of the Apes. This was the ending of the trilogy, the reboot trilogy that came out not too long ago. My only real gripe with this movie is that there's not enough. I don't feel like there's not enough war between like who's going to take over the actual planet. But I really enjoy the conflict with Caesar and the Colonel, and how he is just trying to get his people back, and his revenge arc where he's trying not to, you know, give in to stuff, but he ends up, you know, I love shit like that. Caesar's such a tragic character, and it's just fun to watch. And at the end, spoilers, he dies, but he ends up bringing his people to the Oasis, and you're going to feel his presence in all these future movies as his teachings go on. It's just, Andy Serkis as Caesar deserves more credit. War for the Planet of the Apes was very good. It's just so damn good. But my number one is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is in the middle chapter of the reboot trilogy. It's so damn good. You have this conflict between Caesar and Koba, who Caesar was raised by humans, and he feels the love that he got from them, so he doesn't want to like kill humanity and take them over in any way. While Koba was brought up with cruelty from humans, so he hates humanity. So he wants to get rid of humans entirely. So him and Caesar have this nice conflict, and it just feels very personal and real, and like a real life situation that could happen. And it was just fun to watch these two fight each other and their different philosophies. I just think everyone here is at the top of their game. It's the most exhilarating to watch. It has a fun final battle. All the human characters are really good. I just think it's the perfect Apes movie, and definitely my number one. Well, guys, that was my ranking of all of the Planet of the Apes movies. Like I said before, this franchise is very solid. There's not one entry in the entire franchise that I think is bad. I just think that some are way better than others, and that's good. The quality runs throughout this franchise, and I really enjoy that. And besides, you know, a few things here and there, but overall, it's a fun franchise to watch, and it's obvious because it's still continuing to this day. So yeah, that was my ranking. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. I will be back next week with my top 10 Avatar, The Last Airbender episodes. Hope you'll come back for that. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.